Oh my gosh. Okay. Hello, YouTube. So, first of all, this is my very first live stream on my own, so I just want to say hi. And I've been getting a lot of traction on my YouTube channel. I've been recently posting a lot of vlogs and posting a lot of shorts. So I was like, why don't I start live streaming? Because I feel like there's just so much that I want to put out online and not enough hours in a day to edit stuff. So why not just be the truly authentic me? Secondly, I specifically wanted to live stream today because I've been getting a lot of messages and DMs on my other social media accounts about school. So people will always text me about my undergraduate degree, about my master's degree, about the vibe at U of T, how I got in, my applications, when I went to Paris and Singapore for exchange. And I was just like, I need to create a school series where I properly break down everything for you guys so that I can just be more open. So basically, I've been getting DMs like this, for example. Just so many eager and ambitious high school seniors messaging me about my undergraduate degree. So in this live stream, I'm going to start calling this series like a Q&A series for school. It'll be questions that I generate and garner from the week, and it'll also be questions that I wish I had asked when I first went to university and things that I wish I knew before, during, and even after I graduated. So I'm going to be tackling that. But before I get into the nitty-gritty details of school and everything like that, I'd really appreciate it if you guys subscribed and also followed my other social media channels. I work really hard on my Instagram. So my Instagram username is the same as my YouTube username. It's just NATALIELEE. And yeah, go ahead and look at my Instagram if you have a chance. And thank you so much for supporting me. Okay, so let's jump right in to the topic of the day. And I boiled down the questions that I got this week about school, and I've come up with a general theme. So this week's theme about school is going to be about U of T's vibe. Vibe of the students, vibe of the faculty members, and just like the vibe of the courses. Like how students are feeling, how students adapt to the environment, and so on. So the first question that this girl asked was, I've seen on social media that studying at Rotman Commerce is very challenging, and some people suggest not going there. Is that true? First question. And my take to that question would be twofold. So firstly, when I was an undergrad, I did not go to business school. I was never in Rotman Commerce. And people think that I was in business school a lot because I did economics, I interned at a bank, and I also worked in marketing. But I actually did my undergraduate degree in international relations and public policy, double major. International relations is under the Trinity College, which we'll get into. And public policy is under the Monk School of Global Affairs. It's a leg of the University of Toronto, and it's specifically the hub for global affairs, policy, anything related to that type of work. The Global School of, Monk School of Global Affairs also has other undergraduate degrees like the Contemporary European Studies program and Peace, Conflict, and Justice, which is a very, very, very small program in the Peace, Conflict, and Justice is actually in Trinity College, but the Monk School just has like many different little undergraduate majors also, and it's highly reputable. And Rotman Commerce is a business program, so it's completely different. Business programs have their own building, everything. They have their own classes, they have their own classrooms. It's like their own little home inside U of T's bigger home. So Rotman Commerce is challenging. I'm not a business student, but I was very closely integrated with the Rotman group and the Rotman people just because I took an economics class, which was part of my international relations degree. I took a lot of economics classes, and the material would overlap with the business kids material. So that's why I had a lot of opportunities to like co-collaborate with them and study with them. And I just worked really closely with them. And it is challenging. But choosing a program just because it's hard is definitely not a good thing. You should be choosing a program because you want to learn, and learning is hard because you're basically trying to absorb information that you don't know. So I would say that that is my takeaway. Like, don't be scared of a certain program or a certain type of degree, even though, um, even though it's challenging. Are you guys having trouble hearing me? Oh, is the volume too low? Hey, hold on. Maybe it's this mic. Can you guys hear me if I talk like this? Does that work? Or so confusing. Is this okay? That's better. Okay, thanks guys. So that's what I would say about business school. However, I also can comment about business school in Rotman Commerce and Sauder and Queens and Western. So, my take on business school between all of the different Canadian universities is that Rotman is definitely hard to stay in. It's very challenging during the first 2 years because you have a lot of math heavy, economics heavy courses. And also, U of T is one of the biggest universities in all of Canada. So each class size is actually hundreds of students. Now it's not working well, the audio. That is so strange. That is so strange. I don't know what to do. What about now? Can you guys hear me now? Volume is low. Clocked. Okay. What about now? Is volume still low? I don't know how my mom does this. My mom is pretty good at live streaming. Okay, I guess we won't use a mic. But if you guys can hear me, then that's all good. Okay. As I was saying, we're talking about business schools in Canada, and just as a comparison, because I know people in business schools all throughout Canada, Rotman is definitely the hardest to stay in. And I mean that because the first 2 years of the degree are very math and economics heavy, and also because it's one of the biggest schools in Canada. Each class size, when it comes to like first and second year, is going to be a lot. I'm pretty sure during my first year of university, so that was 2021, the Rotman class was around like 900 to 1,000 students. And then by fourth year, by graduation, only around 400 would graduate. So they have to like cut the weeds, they have to make sure that they only let the best students stay in the program. Also, because U of T is so big, they do a curving system. So each class has a specific average that they have to meet. Let's say the average is like 70%. So if the average is 70%, half of the students get over and half of the students get under. And a fail is 60. So a lot of students are also failing. No matter what, like how you do, the teachers have to decide, okay, is this student gonna pass, is this student gonna fail? Because they have a quota that they have to meet or an average that they have to meet in the class. Now that's Rotman, but for example, solder, very hard to get in. You have to do your personal profile, you have to do an interview, you have to do all these things. Rotman has an interview too, but I feel like from my experience, the acceptances are more catered toward grades. Solder, for example, is more catered toward the personal profile. So if you did extracurriculars in high school, if you did extracurriculars in high school, or if you did clubs, or if you have personal projects, how you write, if you're a holistic candidate, all of that type of stuff. So that it's harder to get into solder, but I'm pretty sure people like have a good time in solder. Like they're fine. Queens and Western, for example, Queens, I would say it's not as technical as Rotman. Like I would say that the schoolwork, because I've seen the schoolwork before, not as tricky. However, they have great networking opportunities. And that's something that Rotman lacks, in my opinion. It does have a lot of networking opportunities, but Queens is just so good at like getting their students into companies and to getting them into conferences and prepping them for interviews and going through resumes. Like it's a very, very holistic experience. And same with Western. Like the Ivy School, I'm not too sure how technical they are in their studies, but like they're not trying to like weed students out. Like from the get-go, it's pretty hard to get into those business schools, but then once you're in it, they really do try to connect you to as much like industry professionals as possible. Rotman, for example, you kind of have to like dig it for yourself. Like there are resources available, but you have to take initiative. You really have to go out there and make that experience for yourself. So it is challenging. I know a lot of people who graduated from Rotman and they all have jobs straight out. And then I know some people who had to recruit for a while after graduating and they only got a job like 6 months later. And I know some people who are, trying to figure it out still. So school is there, but then it really depends on the student as well for like how well you do. Okay. The second question from this DM is, how do you manage and cope with academic stress? So U of T is known to be, or like stereotypically, or like has a reputation of being this super dark and gloomy, sad school, and all the students are depressed, and it's always cold, and it's hard, and everyone fails, and the windows are bolted in because people have jumped. These are all allegations and alleged, but my experience was amazing. I think it's just because I really put myself out there. I was really social. I surrounded myself with amazing people, and I was willing to go to events. So I think that's why I had a great time. And I speak on that because I really do feel like stress is an indicator that you need to start doing things that you like. And for me, that's dancing, hanging out with my friends, going out. And that's how I was able to balance like the highly stressful workload with my life, because I made sure to make time for my life. Also, you have to be able to manage your time. So that means waking up early, doing your readings, handing in your homework on time, and also being sure to follow along during lectures and keep up with your work, because it gets really stressful when you have an exam the next day and you're trying to study 12 weeks worth of material in one night. That's pretty stressful. But I also wanted to remind all the students that grades are only 50% of it. A really good holistic student is able to communicate, make relationships, make friends, manage time, work out, keep up their fitness, eat healthy. There's so many things. And yeah, stress is also inflated with your diet and your sleep. If you don't get enough sleep and if you eat really unhealthy foods, like foods with like high sodium levels, it's easier to get stressed out because you're like not in the right, you know what I mean. So yeah, that's how I manage stress. I just like make sure to really make time for things that I enjoy. Okay, number 3. What if I'm not particularly strong in mathematics in high school? Will I struggle in the program? I'm guessing she's asking me about if she would struggle in Rotman if she's not good in math, and that's a yes. Don't go to business school if you can't do math. It's just, math is the whole entire program, so if you're bad at it, you're gonna have a hard time. But you can always improve. There is a short story that I'm gonna tell you. I actually never did math 12 in high school. I did math 11 in grade 10, and then after that, for grade 11 and 12, I stopped doing math. So my math was terrible. I'm like so bad at math. If you ask me to divide or multiply a fraction right now, I would need to ask ChatGPT. However, I did so many economics courses and I got high grades, and now I'm doing my master's program in business marketing. So why do you think I'm able to do that? It's just because you really have to apply yourself. If you think you're bad at something, you're putting yourself in a box. You really actually can do it. You just need to work on it. And also, like, geniuses are not geniuses. They only study. Like, if you think that someone doesn't study and they're a genius, they're lying to you. They probably study a lot, they just don't tell you. Okay, question number 4. What do you enjoy most about studying at Rotman? I already told this girl that I'm not in Rotman. Next. Are there any support systems or resources for students who are struggling academically or mentally? There is. U of T has mental health services. I know a friend who did therapy and he got it for free because when you pay tuition at U of T, you can also have access to like the mental health resources. And if you, let's say, have ADHD, or if you have like special accommodations, like you need technology on you because you need to like measure your blood pressure or something, there are things that you can sign up for where you can like take exams in another room or take exams on your laptop, like a specific accommodation. So you can only have access to them if you are a student. So, okay, question number 7. How are the professors in the teaching style? Are they approachable and supportive? I'm not gonna lie, U of T, in my opinion, as I like look back on my 4 years, it was very theoretical, and I don't know if much of what I learned was very practical, like real life. Like I could apply this at my job. But perhaps it was because I was doing a very social science heavy degree, like international relations and public policy. I was learning about a lot about international theories and learning about global governance, and everything that I was learning just felt very far away from me, if that makes sense. However, if I was doing a business degree, for example, I'm sure I'd be learning like how to make a balance sheet and all that stuff. So my thing with U of T is that it's just very theoretical, very logic, theory based, and it was very old school traditional learning, where you open dusty textbook and you're like reading quotes from people who wrote stuff in like 1989, and like, you know, just like going through like sifting through archives. It's very like an old traditional type of learning. So that was my take. However, professors are very approachable and supportive. However, they're also professors. They're not going to give you any attention or time of day unless you give them a reason to. So when you approach professors, you have to approach them with intent. You have to approach them, you know, with maybe like information and background knowledge of who they are, what they do, and you have to have a clear idea of what you want them to do for you. When you're like, what is it called? Asking like for a reference letter, or when you're asking for something from them, you can't just ask them on the first class. You have to really like build that relationship, sending them emails every so often, talking to them before and after class, and offering ways that you can help them. For example, there's research opportunities where you can ask a professor if they're working on any sub-projects, and then you can ask to get on that, and then you can put it in your resume. Many avenues like that, and so on. So yeah. And the last thing that this girl asked me was, how important is networking and extracurricular involvement while you're studying at U of T? This is very, very important because if you're not in a business program at U of T, networking, you have to do it all on your own. You have to find things on your own. And when I was an undergrad, I did not do that. So frankly, I was kind of like lost. I had no idea how to find an internship, how to find a job, like how to connect with industry professionals. I had no knowledge of what to do at all. And if I were to tell myself 3 years ago what to do, it would be to get a LinkedIn. I cannot stress this enough. You need a LinkedIn because LinkedIn is one of the best ways to show employers who you are. Also learn more about like companies of your interest and see job openings. Like it's literally like Instagram, but like for jobs. Like if I was studying international relations and one day I want to work at the UN, I would make a LinkedIn account. I would follow the UN on LinkedIn. So whenever they open up for job opportunities, I would apply on LinkedIn. Like I just like did not know that was a concept in university. I only found that out like literally like 2 months ago, and I'm a master's student now. And like I'm telling all my friends to do LinkedIn, and they're doing it now too. Like I think that it's so like you're in a jungle and you really have to find out things on your own. So yeah, networking is so important because professors like they're gonna teach you the theories, they're gonna teach you how to write nice papers and all that, but they're not gonna be able to give you a job. You have to go on LinkedIn and actually message people. You have to go on LinkedIn and follow the recruiters and follow the companies that you want to apply for, and then eventually apply. And you have to like posts, you have to search stuff up. Networking is so important. Coffee chat. I love to do in-person coffee chats. I just feel like it's so much more interpersonal when you're with them and they can really see your energy. But virtual is like a good thing too. So anyway, lastly, extracurricular involvement. I was on the dance team, so I was at dance practice every single weekend, and it was a nice way to do something that I liked and also get active and also be amongst like a bunch of girls and like dance and do what I loved. I was the hip hop choreographer for the U of T dance team in my senior year and third year. And then first year and second year, I was a member. The dance team was really particular because it's not an actual like sport that's sponsored by the school. It's student led, and we all had to pay for our own gear and our own competitions. So it was kind of like a club, but it was pretty official because we had a backpack and we had like our track suits and everything, and we would go to like Canadian dance championships and like finals and nationals and stuff like that. And we won every single year. So that was like one way to de-stress as well. But when it comes to like U of T vibes, which is like basically like what this live is supposed to be about, three takeaways. Firstly, it's only depressing if you make it. I don't know why U of T has such a like bad reputation for being super depressing and sad, but it's genuinely what you make of it. If you're sitting at home and you're not going out and you're not doing anything and you're not going to events, and you're not signing up for clubs and you're not making friends, obviously it's going to be depressing for you. That's the same for every single university. I guess like one way that U of T could be more depressing is that it's really cold. It's also in the middle of the city. So instead of having like a very tight-knit college town vibe where there's like one bar and one club that every single student goes to, and like people always go to the frats and the sororities, and it's just like very tight-knit. It's a city school, so people are like commuters, or everybody lives in apartments, or everyone is just like kind of like in the middle of the TTC. Like I understand that point of view, but it's truly what you make of it. Every single year of my undergraduate degree, I had so much fun because I was just going to every single function. I was always saying yes. And I also like met a lot of people, and It's also really important not to make enemies your first year because, ugh, that really followed me. Even to now. Like, the mistakes I made first year followed me to now. So, like, just, like, remember to be kind to everyone. Like, just be nice to everyone. My second thing, I already kind of touched on it. Like, U of T is a city school, so you have to be prepared for that. Like, you're going to have class, like, right beside a mall. Like, you're going to have class right beside TNT. And that small college town vibe, it's not going to be there. But what a lot of U of T students do is that during breaks, they'll like go down to Montreal, or they'll go to Western, or like some people even go to New York, and they just like have fun and they experience that. And like I know that for St. Patrick's Day, people always go down to Laurier to have fun and get that college experience vibe. So it's truly what you make of it. And also, like, in my senior year, I started integrating myself more with Greek life, and Greek life was really fun. They always had events. So if you're really struggling to make friends, you can also join Greek life. Yeah. And I also worked a work study job. So something that U of T has, I don't know if other schools have it too, but they have on-campus employment, and we call it work study. Work because you're working for an entity at U of T, and study because the work goes around your studies. So I used to work for a startup incubator at U of T called the Hatchery. They focused on building up small companies, or building up ideas from U of T students, alumni, or faculty, or grad students, or PhD students, or whatever. You'd go to the accelerator with an idea, they'd choose your idea, and then they'd help you create your business model, and then they help you go to market and connect you with investors. It's like a really, really nice, like solid and holistic program. And I worked as a marketer, so I marketed the program to students in the community. I would like booth, and I'd go to networking events, I would talk to students, I would make social media content and do email marketing and like all that stuff. And it was $20 hours a week at most. And it would always go around my studies. So for example, if I had like a final coming up or it was finals week, I would tell my boss like, hey, I have finals, and then they would not give me anything to do. So no work. It was really nice. And I had it for the 3 years. I was not in first year, but second, third, and fourth year I had it. And it was just such a resume booster. It's also the reason why I'm studying marketing in my master's right now. And it was just really nice to get involved in the school community like that. So if you're planning on going to U of T and you want employment, or you're an international student and you can't work anywhere else, I highly, highly, highly recommend getting a work study job. You can find the work study job on CLNX, which is a platform on the U of T website, and you can just apply. And it was just like one of the best things ever. So yeah, extracurriculars wise, I was on the official U of T dance team as a hip hop dancer and choreographer, and I was also a work study student working for the Startup Accelerator. And I was doing school full time, and I'm also just like busy being a hot girl. So U of T was pretty busy for me. I had a lot of things going on all the time, but I still was able to have a really high GPA and like good relationships with my friends. So time management is really, really important. And yeah, the vibes at U of T, my third thing I was gonna say is that people at U of T are cutthroat. Like, people at U of T, they are ambitious, they want what they want, and it's really easy to feel imposter syndrome. Also, there's so many international students at U of T. Like, it's just such a diverse community, and it's easy to feel really small in such a big campus, in such a big world. But finding your pocket is super important. At school, I was in the international relations program, so it was only 100 students per year. It was quite competitive, and I really just found 4 people that I loved, stuck with them. And through second, third, and fourth year, I just had the same 4 or 5 friends. We did all our work together, all our homework together. We went to like events together. My friends later became the captains of the International Relations Society. Like, we just basically took over that program, and it was just like the most amazing thing. So like, it's easier to feel imposter syndrome, it's easy to feel super small on such a big campus, but finding your pocket is super special and super important. And also taking advantage of U of T's beautiful campus. Like, did you know, fun fact, that U of T was built first And then Toronto was built second. Like literally downtown is built around U of T. A fun fact for you. But yeah, like U of T has such beautiful libraries. It has such beautiful study spaces. The law like building is absolutely gorgeous. My favorite building is the Monk School building, which I frequented a lot. And my favorite library was the Graham Library. It's just it looked like a fairy tale library. And some of the locations are open to the general public, but some places you need a card to get into, like Robarts, for example. I think it's like the second or the third biggest library in all of North America. It's like really huge. And students like love going there. There's a Starbucks in there. And like basically you would tap your University of Toronto. I have two because I thought I lost one. But you would tap your card and you would be able to go in. This was me when I was 17. I look so scary. It's because I had an ID when I was 17 and I just wanted to look older. I look so scary. I look younger now. Look at this. Look at my eyebrows. Anyway, so like, yeah, like I would go to Robarts. Robarts is so beautiful. And like, I didn't start actually going to all the facilities until my senior year. And I regret that. Like if you're a first year or you're in high school looking to go to U of T, just make sure to take advantage of every single building that university has to offer. Because like once you go to a different university, you're gonna know that like U of T just like really had it all. There's like gyms and there's swimming pools and there's like just lovely. Just sit in King's Circle Park and just stare at the CN Tower from afar. It's like beautiful. So those are my vibes. Obviously, like that was just my perspective of U of T. I'm also a very social person. So like I kind of bring the vibes. Like if I'm in a room, I'll make the room fun. Like some people just like don't have that ability. So yeah, just like going to events and stuff and just trying to make friends whenever. But one thing I will say about making friends is that you're not obligated to your friends. It's like not like high school where you have to see this person for the next 5 years of your life. And if you like have bad blood with them, like it's just gonna like carry on. If you don't like someone or you don't vibe with them early on, just like very nicely and maturely step away and just say, hey, like you're not my vibe, wishing you the best of luck in your university career and ciao. And you can just find people that align with you. And that's something that I wish I knew earlier. Like I just felt this sense of like obligation to like stay friends with the people that I first became friends with. But like later on, I was like, hey, like I really do need to find people that are like-minded and like me, have the same ambitions and goals, have the same attitudes. So like it's totally okay to like step away from that and like just find people that you align with. So I only wanted this live to be 30 minutes long, and now it's 33 minutes long, so I'm gonna stop there. But I'm gonna try to do these lives weekly, and if you guys have more questions about school or you want me to be more specific about a certain thing, please comment on it so I can tackle that next week. Or you could even just try to like message me and DM me on Instagram about it. Like this girl DM me on Instagram about it. So I'm so accessible, and like if you guys are wanting more information about school and stuff, like I'm such a resource because I'm an older sister. I have 2 younger brothers, and like I wish they were asking me questions and they don't. So maybe they'll watch these videos in the future and then their questions will be answered, but I don't know what it is about 16-year-old boys. They're just so unmotivated. So if you guys know anything about dealing with a 16-year-old boy, also let me know. But yeah, so next week I'm gonna be tackling exchange programs because I went to Singapore and Paris for my exchange. I'm gonna talk about that. And then the weeks following, I have like no idea what I'm gonna talk about. So you guys can let me know what you wanna know. And yeah, for the 31 of you who are still here, thank you so much for watching me. It's like so different live streaming without my mom and doing it in English, which is nice. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. How do I turn it off? Oh my gosh, I don't know how to turn it off. This is what happens when I do things without my mom. Okay. Oh, okay, bye.